1979 MGB Dashboard Removal. Just some tips and tricks to maybe help somebody else along their journey. Watched a couple videos online like everybody else. Just going to point out some things that helped me through my process. This, again, I'm sure may vary from different models, but on this particular model, there are 6 12 millimeter nuts on the underside of the dashboard. They're all located, you could see the lip here along the top of the dash, but kind of on this part of it underneath, there's one here closest to the edge, here in the center kind of the glove box, one up here. Let me get something a little longer so I can help show. Another one about right here. The hardest one to me is right up here. It's directly behind this gauge cluster right here on the backside of the dash, and then one more on the very end way over there that's pretty easy to see. The hardest one is definitely the one behind the gauge cluster. And then there's 3 Phillips screws on the underside down here, which I'll show you in a minute. But a couple people have suggested removing the dashboard, which I found, or not the dashboard, I'm sorry. Obviously, that's our goal today. Removing the glove box. That was the most useful part to me from some of the things I watched in the videos. And to do that, there's a Phillips screw here. There's one here, one on the inside over here, and then there's 2 for the latching mechanism that holds the glove box up. Once you get those out, glove box pretty easily comes out. You can put that off to the side. People also suggested removing the vents on the for the heater back here. It's also fairly easy. Once you get the glove box out, you can kind of push from behind, and you could see there's these little push tabs that you can push in, and it helps unclip them. There's basically one on every side except for the bottom. So, and then it just kind of pops right out of there. It didn't really help me a lot because I couldn't really fit my hand through there. I found it easier in my case to just reach my hand behind here and then feel for those, the back of those bolts where those nuts were. So that was most beneficial to me. So next, I'll just kind of show you guys the underside of the car. There's one more thing I'm going to just point out why we're up here. I got everything unbolted finally, and then realized, why isn't the dash coming out? And behind the Speedo, you've got the cable that attaches to the back of the Speedo that you'll have to unscrew and pull that out. And that was really kind of what was holding me in place back there. So next, let's just kind of go underneath, and I apologize about the shaky video. I am obviously doing this from my phone, so it's a little bit harder to show you guys everything. But I'm trying to get it lit up as much as possible so you can see some of the stuff that we're talking about. Might actually be easier to show you from the side here. So for starters, looking underneath the dash, you can see the glove box right there. This is that location where those Phillips are that I was talking about. So it goes through the plate here that attaches to the dashboard, and then there's another plate that the Phillips goes through and screws to. There's a total of 3 of those. There's one here. There's one right back there, which, let's see if I can zoom in on it. There you go, you see the little lip on it. That's kind of the center of the dash towards the driver's side. And then I'm gonna go over here on the driver's side, see if I can see. There it is. There's the steering column. And there's the plate for the other one right there. Okay. Now, the bolts, or the nuts, I'm sorry, that you need to remove. Again, looking up from the bottom, they all look the same. But you could see there's a slot in the dash, which is, let me get my pointer up here again. Slot is right there. Here's the stud, and then the nuts on the back of that. The red part is the actual dashboard. The line that you see there is the body. So you're gonna have one there. As you move along, you can see another one there. And another one there. And then again, you just keep running that ridge all the way back. Now, you can also see if I can get you zoomed in on it. Back there where I had to remove. Hopefully it'll zoom in. Oh, and my light's going out. Perfect. I can't really get you guys a good picture of it, but I'm trying to get you a picture of the cable that I had to remove from behind the dash. But again, you get the picture. It's just so round. You just unthread it. They're loose enough you can unthread it with your hand. Once that's off, you have to pick as you're trying to loosen the dashboard. And I'll see if I could show you here. But you got to kind of lift it as you're trying to remove it, because obviously they sit down in these slots. So the stud goes through that, but as you're getting this out, you got to kind of lift it up and out to get it out. Those are the major key takeaways. And then obviously, there's a bunch of little dash things from the harness that need to be disconnected. If you're going to reuse that harness, I would highly recommend that you really take some good pictures on where everything's at, so where everything goes back together. This car is not getting factory harness. My plan is to V8 swap this car and do some suspension upgrades. So, it's obviously all kind of dependent on time and money, obviously, but that's kind of where we're at. If I find anything else along the way to help out, I'll send it your way.